Hello composers, you are watching Studio Time with Mike, and in this episode I will show you the amazing power of the story folder, which I also call the Mockup composing method. So let's dive in right now. Alright, so this is my story folder here at the top of my sequencer, and if I fold it out you can see the tracks inside it and this little short mockup that I just created. So let's play it through first and then I will go through each track one by one and explain how I use the story folder, or what I call the Mockup composing method, to speed up my composition workflow. So there are actually two main reasons and benefits of using a story folder at the top of your sequencer. The first is to use it as a sketch folder. So, for example, you can sketch ideas for percussion, rhythms, chord progressions, melodies, motifs, riffs, and so on. In that case, you might not even need this. You might only have this as clear tracks, and then you simply play something like this. And so on, and then you can record that and copy and paste it to, or drag it to, a real track. So these are actually the folders with all the real instruments of my template, which I'm going to compose the actual composition in. So that is it. You can use it as a sketch track or recording track for new parts in your real composition. And the other way, if you really want to dive in, is to use it as a mock-up composing method, meaning that you write the bare essentials of your music story with only a couple of tracks inside this story folder. For me, I have chosen to use one for percussion, which is basically drums. And by the way, these are actually track stacks or kind of groups inside the folder, so I can change up and even layer instruments if I want to. So that is it for the percussion. Just write that on one track. The next one I call rhythm, which is melodic rhythmic drive. I use short articulations on strings for this, so it sounds like this. And so on. And then I have one track for the bass, the main bass. Which is just a sub-bass patch in Omnisphere in this case, or Trillion in fact. And then I have one for the harmony, where you can use the chord progressions as blocks or whatever. I have actually piano plus strings for this, so if I play now, you only hear the piano. If I bring up the mod wheel, you can hear I can change the dynamics of the strings. So now it is piano plus strings layered. Which I really love for creating chord progressions. And for the melody, I actually use also piano plus strings, but in a different combination and a little more bright, so that like this. I usually play the bass with my left hand and the melody with my right hand, when I use this as a sketch track, like so. But if you only use it for the melody, like I have done here, of course, you can write a monophonic line. And so on. So those are the tracks I've used. I also colored them, as you can see, for the way I want to structure these tracks. So I always have, for example, the bass tracks in red, the main melody tracks in yellow, and so on. But basically, now I can compose my real composition, and I always have this to fall back on. So I can write the main composition in as a mock-up, like so. So even if I have lots of tracks going on here, I can always solo this Mockup folder. Now let's say that was the intro and I want to create the verse here. I can start, if I want to create an 8-bar or 16-bar verse here, for example, on only these essential tracks in the Mockup composing or story folder. And then I can arrange, transpose, and add new parts using this as basically a visual overview, as if I want to go in here, for example, and check the complete arrangement in the story folder. That gives me a clear overview of the main elements of my music composition all in one folder. I can use it if I want to, for example, take the melody, drag it by holding the Option key here in Logic to, for example, these strings here. And if I activate that, let's see, now I have this. So I can use it as blocks, basically, like that. Yeah, I can also check the chord progression, let's say. If I write the chord progression here on the harmony, I actually went for kind of an arpeggio. But you can use block chords and write a chord progression there, and that way you can always check, for example, when you write a melody or any part or harmony line by selecting this. Let's say you have that on... let's say you have that on a pad, like here. You can check that at the same time as you check this one. So go in, have a look, so that you actually write parts that correspond to the actual harmonies and chord progressions that you have already written here inside the story folder. Hello composers, Mike here, and I am a composer just like you. I have created an amazing community for professional and aspiring composers like yourself. And I want to invite you to join right now. Connect with fellow composers, join the discussions, ask questions, get tips, guides and resources, special deals, industry news, rewards and free bonuses. This is the community for composers online. The atmosphere is friendly yet professional. There are even lots of highly successful and professional composers, as well as industry people inside the community that you will be able to connect with and ask questions to. Maybe even become friends with if you become a loyal member of the community. So join today, improve your skills and knowledge as a composer, improve your music quality step by step, and level up your career in music. I'm personally waiting for you to join the community, so see you inside, my friend.